Let's just make sure everything's working. Welcome in, everybody. If you are waiting in the background, I've just checked it. Everything is working. Sound's working. We're a go. So, where to start? Sorry, I haven't had a time to get around to the live, but here it is. Right. First off, one that we're going to talk about straight away is obviously Isaac was waiting a long time for his permit. It's been reported by multiple people now that it seems to be that situation sorted, and hopefully plays against Liverpool tonight, which will be mint. Let's hope we'll see Isaac playing the night. I hope he starts. I really do hope he starts. I hope Eddie Howe doesn't just slowly introduce him in the team. But even Eddie Howe was desperate to get his work permit through, so I'd be very surprised if he starts on the bench. All right, straight in the transfer situation, because we know that there's going to be a lot of names getting thrown about in the media about who Newcastle's going to sign. One of those that I can say, because I have been told this information, like I do with all my other information, but this one seems a bit more concrete now, is Jack Harrison from Leeds. It's understood that Harrison could be on his way to Newcastle United. Obviously, we've seen that Leeds have put their interest in two players as potential replacements for Harrison. It's obviously understood that a certain bid would tempt Harrison away from Leeds and potentially join Newcastle United. He's had a good start of the season, created a lot of chances at Leeds. The only thing he's lacking is that that bit extra firepower up top. So if Harrison comes to Newcastle, it'd be absolutely sensational because he has a striker that'll convert those chances in Isaac and obviously Wilson when he comes back and he's fit. But just imagine Jack Harrison and ASM on the wings, obviously when ASM's back from his injury, because he isn't going to start the day because it sounds more likely that he has an injury, which could, I'm hoping, doesn't, but it sounds like he's going to force him out for a couple of weeks. I always get asked a bunch of questions every time I stream and every time I do a short. There's always a comment left as well, as I did report about Diaby. As far as I'm aware, and I will keep coming back to this, Diaby has always been the top target for Newcastle. They've always wanted them on the Newcastle team sheet and things like that. The only issue with Diaby is the funds that Leverkusen's going to want for him, and obviously the time that we've got left. I know we'll have plenty of time to get things sorted, but we need to understand that the financial situation with the club needs to be taken into account. So I'd be very surprised if Diaby moves. I was hoping he would move this window, but if we're going to pursue Harrison the way we are, I wouldn't expect Diaby. But anything can happen. Anything can happen on deadline day. We've seen it in the past where all of a sudden players get announced. Look with Isaac, he was just suddenly announced to the rest of the world, which is mad. But yeah, another one that I mentioned a good few weeks ago now, and I said would be an absolute phenomenal signing, and he makes sense and everything like that, is Yuri Tillermans. Plays for Leicester. Phenomenal player. I've watched him since his days of Football Manager and things like that. You'll know Tielemans. You'll also understand that his situation at Leicester. His contract's up in the summer. Leicester's going to want money now. They're not going to get the money in the future for him because he's not going to sign the contract. He's made that obvious. And the way Leicester are, they're on a downward spiral right now because look who's just left. You've got Schmeichel who's left Leicester. You've got other players like potential Maddison leaving Leicester. You've just seen Fofana leave to go to Chelsea, which is a nightmare. But Leicester look to be on a downward trajectory right now, and I'm pretty sure, as I make this live, that Leicester are rock bottom of the Premier League with a game in hand, but they're still rock bottom of the league. Just a quick one in chat. That is great news for us if we have Jack in St. James's Park, meaning we are going to finish top 6. If you haven't seen my prediction video, I'm going to always promote it. Check it out. I predicted us to finish very high up in the league, and a lot of people dissed us for it. And, well, I wouldn't say dissed us, but a lot of people have sort of doubted. But I agree with you. If we get a midfielder in and we get a winger in, and hopefully one loan, like a versatile loan, like I said the other day when I mentioned about Maitland-Niles potentially coming on loan, but it looks like he's going out with Southampton, which I'm devastated about. The only reason I'm devastated, he is a very versatile player. Plays right back, left back, centre mid on the wings. What more could you want from a player, sorry? So I'm quite devastated if we miss out on Maitland-Niles, if I'm totally honest, because I think he would be really good for when the likes of Trippier, and obviously we've seen Emil Kraft is also not fit and he's going to be out for months. I think it's between 6 and 9 months that he says, because he needs an operation on that knee injury that he picked up. So obviously Yuri Tillermans, he's been put in the media. It was announced this morning by Keith Downey and a bunch of other people that Leicester's looking around 25 to 30 million for him. You can't be stupid. If I'm totally honest, if that figures came out, you've got multiple teams that's going to look at this figure. The list of them's us, Newcastle United. The other one, Arsenal, who have always been linked with Tielemans for the full window, who I'd be very surprised if they don't go in for him. Another one, Tottenham. Tottenham's always needing a midfielder. That I would be very surprised if Tottenham doesn't try and go in. And obviously, let's get it over and done with Everton, because Everton share the same scouts as Newcastle by the sounds of it, because everyone knew Newcastle go for Everton, just trying to snatch or get put in the media. So I wouldn't be surprised if Everton go in for him. But the big one, and I've always said, since it got announced, the one thing I wouldn't be surprised is if Newcastle get announced that they're going for Tielemans, which I do believe will be announced in the next 24 hours, because let's have a look, deadline day is tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised if Liverpool try and snatch Tielemans. The only reason I say this is because even Jurgen Klopp came out and said that he wanted a midfielder, but that midfielder moved to a different club. We don't know who it was. There might be a few people that do know who it is, but we don't know who it is, which is a shame for Liverpool. But I wouldn't be surprised at 25-30 million for someone like Yuri Tillermans, a Belgian international. I would not be surprised if someone goes in for him. But I really hope Newcastle push the boat out and go for him, because we do need a midfielder. Eddie Howe is aware of this. But the one thing to obviously not forget as well is Newcastle play Liverpool today. If you haven't already seen, I've done a prediction video on this. You can check that out as well. It's going to be a tough game, but 2-1, I said. You can check the other video out if you want. It's just a little short, but if you're watching this live, I did predict 2-1 for Newcastle to beat them. Almiron to get that goal score, or the goal in the back of the net, should I say, sorry. But yeah, the one thing that I'm going to find interesting with Newcastle in the next 24 hours is who did they bring in? Because I can still see 2 permanents and potentially 1 or 2 loans coming in. If Jack Harrison comes in, which is looking the most likely one to come in now, it's going to be crazy. I'd love to see Harrison in. I've been a long-term admirer of Harrison, English international, really good player, Jack Harrison. If Tielemans comes in, that really cements our midfield. Especially when Bruno's fit, Joe Linton's there. You've got so many backup options as well. If Tielemans just rocks the show and just becomes a first-team player. But yeah, I expect we'll make a move for Tielemans, if I'm totally honest. Another one that was linked by a couple of people in the media, is Amadou Hadara. So this guy, if I'm correct, you can quote us on this one. He was linked back. I'm sure it was January we were linked to him, before even Bruno was in the door. So he seems to be a long-term sort of like player that's been on the cards for a long time. So something like that wouldn't shock me if they make a move for him on deadline day. But as I say, there's like a lot that could happen. The one thing that I've always said, and I say it on Twitter all the time, if someone has tabs on Dan Ashworth, where he is, or if anyone has Steve Nixon and they know where he is, let it DM us and we're going to figure out where the transfers are coming in from. Because they're the men doing the business by the sounds of it at the minute. And if we can keep an eye on where they're going, we know who they're buying. Well, we know who they're talking to, should I say. They're not buying, but we know who they're talking to. So that's basically it, really. Obviously, Diaby, I've already said this. I'd be very surprised if they make a move for him, but anything can happen deadline day. The money's there. Let's not forget this. Eddie Howe might say the money isn't there, but that's the plate down from the media. If I'm honest, look at the way he handed Luke Edwards. He handed Luke Edwards to bits, it was funny. It was just funny to watch. But yeah, touching on transfers, that's great. So obviously, don't forget, this is just to clear up on all those. If you're obviously new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Keep up to date with more transfers and everything else that's coming new to the channel. Obviously, don't forget, we're on the road to 900 subs now. It's crazy to even think that. Like, we're really growing substantially well now. Obviously, leave a like on the video. We're going to try and smash 20 likes again, like we do every single live stream. We'll smash 20 likes out the park, and it's mint to see everyone hitting that like button. 2 more things in the chat here. Hello, how are you doing? We're just wrapping it up. Sorry if sort of came at the end. You can rewatch it back on YouTube if you feel free. We need 2 more players, definitely. 2 more players, potentially 2 more permanent players and a loan. There could be 4 players coming to the door because we're allowed a maximum of 2 loans. Let's not forget this. Even though Eddie Howe said he'll go into the loan market, let's not forget we could still get 2 permanent ones and 2 loans if we really wanted to. But yeah, that's everything. Obviously, if you do want to donate to the channel, it helps us out a lot. You can do by following the link down there in the description. Press on that link. You can donate whatever you feel. It helps out the channel. It all gets put back into the channel, and we'll try and get a green screen because I'm sick of this flickering. But yeah, anyway, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you later.